On April 18, 2019, Del Norte County residents gathered at a town hall meeting in the multi-purpose room at Joe Hamilton Elementary to voice their concerns about homelessness in our community. The town hall, organized by State Senator Mike McGuire, featured presentations by city and county policymakers about both short-term and long-term solutions to the current homeless crisis in Del Norte County. According to Senator McGuire, the cost of doing nothing outweighs the cost of providing services, housing, and desperately needed support. The state of California pays approximately $100,000 annually per chronically homeless person, due predominantly to stays in county jails and emergency rooms. Senator McGuire, along with city and county representatives, outlined both a short-term and a long-term funding structure. In the short term, approximately $360,000 from the Homeless Emergency Aid Program can be used to address emergency needs for the homeless in Del Norte County. In the long term, the county can access funds from the No Place Like Home bond program by finalizing its own strategic homeless plan. Toward this end, the county is contracted with an outside consulting firm to assess Del Norte County's housing needs and gather input from the public. Senator McGuire hopes this proactive funding approach, informed by public input, will be, in the senator's words, better for the human and better for the taxpayer. After the town hall, we caught up with Senator McGuire and asked him if he had learned anything from what he had heard.
Alrighty, Senator Mike McGuire, did you learn anything here tonight with the room full of Del Norters?
Learn that this community is incredibly engaged, they want to be active, and they're ready to take action to be able to bring some innovative solutions to be able to solve one of our community's toughest challenges. And I couldn't be more pleased. Number one, we had an overflow crowd. The crowd that was here tonight was solution-oriented, rightfully shared some frustrations, and now it's time for all of us to be able to step up, work together, and be able to solve this challenge. And one of the biggest issues that we've had over the last many years when we've talked about homelessness, there are no funds to be able to implement plans. Now we have the dollars, we have the will, and this community is ready to move. And so you're going to see in the coming weeks to months, short-term plan adopted, and then you're going to see by this summer and fall, long-term plan moving forward with the Board of Supervisors, and we couldn't be more thrilled.
Any concern with sustainability over the long haul? Because as Governor Brown pointed out when the initial $8 billion surplus, save this for a rainy day, it's not going to be here forever. What happens when those funds are gone?
Absolutely. So the state of California has learned its lesson from previous recessions. So in addition to the dollars that we're moving for homeless services and homeless housing, we're also saving. So one of our two big priorities, save for the bad times and pay down debt. So the state has about a $14.5 billion surplus. We have a $14.5 billion rainy day fund. It's anticipated to hit about $20 billion by 2022. And we are actually funding more than we had anticipated because we know these good times are not going to last, number one. Number two, we have to pay down debt. So over the last 24 months, we've invested over $10 billion to be able to pay down public employee retirement system debt as well as the state teacher retirement system debt. And we're investing in some of our biggest challenges. $500 million moved last year in short-term emergency solutions for housing. And the way that we're going to build the permanent supportive housing is we've bonded against 7% of the Prop 63 funds. California voters passed the millionaire's tax several years ago. Prop 63 is taxing the richest Californians. It generates anywhere between $6 and $8 billion a year. We're bonding 7%, generates $2 billion. We're going to build 14,000 permanent supportive housing units, and we're working with local governments to be able to establish a long-term plan. That long-term plan has to focus on the business plan, how we're going to be able to fund services and programs long-term, and that's what the County of Del Norte is going to be focusing on. Not just building capacity, but funding that capacity, and that's why the state of California is going to require the County of Del Norte to have a multi-decade contract to provide services and programs for mental health, drug and alcohol addiction for chronic homeless.
You have a very large district with a lot of different kinds of communities in it. How does the homeless issue in Del Norte County, as you've experienced it, how does it compare to the rest of your district?
Rural California has some of the most acute challenges when it comes to homelessness. I'm going to give you an example. 2 years ago, Mendocino County had the highest homeless population per capita in America. And what we know is that while there are overwhelming numbers of homeless residents in Los Angeles, for example, in Mendocino, Del Norte, or Humboldt, with very few resources, They're trying to be able to deal with the challenges at hand. So what I will say is one common theme between Crescent City and San Rafael and Marin County is the issue of homelessness. And that is why we're seeing tens of millions of dollars being invested in the North Coast on short-term solutions, and tens of millions of dollars are now moving for long-term. It's a common theme, no matter if you live in Crescent City or in downtown Los Angeles on Skid Row. Homelessness is at the top of mind of Californians, no matter if you live in a rural part of this great state or urban, and we're all coming together to be able to solve it. And where I have felt extremely frustrated is that this state has forgotten about rural California. And for the first time, we're seeing per capita dollar amounts invested. So it's not just about the total number of homeless, but it's your per capita count. So that means rural counties are starting to get additional dollars that they've never seen before because we're basing it off of a per capita point in time count.
You get to take the weekend off?
No. There we go. Look, I think the bottom line is this: we're also in this for the long haul, right? This is not a one and done. We are here long term, and we're focused on a long-term plan to be able to work with all involved, tribal community, the city, the county, and residents. And we couldn't be more excited about the kickoff. We also know the real work is still to come.
Right on. Thank you very much.